Hi everyone, I wanted to give you a template to help you with your first reading response based on the reading from the Happiness Advantage, the Fulcrum, and the Lever, pages 62 to 86. So by giving you this template, I hope that as you do future reading responses, you'll have a way to approach those reading responses successfully, and you can kind of imitate this type of outline that I'm creating to help you here. So one thing about a reading response, and please watch the reading response instruction video before this, but it does have to be thematic. So you need to choose a theme from the reading that you want to write about. Now, in this template, I'm choosing the theme, Belief in Your Ability to Succeed. So a theme is a main idea. And here's a main idea you can use because part of the chapter speaks about people's belief in their ability to succeed. If you choose to write about a different theme, that's fine, but for the sake of ease of figuring out this assignment, I have provided this entire template outline for you to use, so you're welcome to use this theme and a lot of these elements here, which I'll show you in a moment. What I'd first like to do is, again, show you how to structure this document. So to start out, if you're in Word, and you'll want to go to the font size, which you'll want to make 12, and you're going to want to choose a plain sort of font, Cambria, Times New Roman, Calibri, all of those can work, or Arial. And then you want to go to the Paragraph tab and choose Line Spacing Single, and then check this box here that says don't add a space between paragraphs of the same style, and that will adjust your spacing and format for this response. The next thing you need to do is go to Insert, choose Page Number, go to top of the page and choose the right justified number, and then you're going to type your last name in here. Once you've done that, close the header and footer, and you'll have that last name and page number ghosted up here. So for this assignment, you're first going to need to create a heading, and that needs to be your name, your professor's name, the class name, and then the date. Now the date can be correctly done in two ways for MLA format. This is a modified MLA format, but we're still using an MLA formatted heading. So you can do it like this, February 21, 2020 with a comma, or another acceptable way is 21 February 2020 with no comma. Okay? Next, now since we don't have any extra spaces in the Paragraph tab, we will have to add extra spaces between certain elements of this response. So we're going to tab down twice. Now we want to have our title, and this needs to be a thematic title, something that represents the main idea of your essay, and we want to center that. Next, we're going to have a thematic epigraph. Now, a thematic epigraph is a direct quote from the text that represents the theme that you're talking about, the main idea. Now, this thematic epigraph is going to be in quotation marks, and it's also going to be italicized. So you're going to want to italicize this by choosing the I here. And then here's a note on how to make an M dash. There's two types of dashes, an N dash like N is in Nancy, and an M dash like M is in Mark. An M dash is wider and the N dash is a hyphen. So to make that M dash, you're going to hit the hyphen twice. Whoops. And then type in the author's name. And you see, as soon as you hit the space bar, the two hyphens elongate into an M dash. Now the author's name should not be italicized, so you can put that in regular font. So that's a reminder to choose a thematic epigraph. Now we're going to tab down twice and go back to the left justified button and start the essay. So let's look at, I'm going to put a placeholder here for your introduction, and I'll show you my introduction here for a moment. So this is an example of introducing the idea, the main idea or the theme first. And you want to remember to introduce the author's name and the source text in the first paragraph. So this says, because of self-esteem issues, not everyone believes in their own abilities. In today's world, we might find it normal to hear others speak badly about themselves, belittling their own skills and talents. However, the importance of believing in the self is the key to our success. In his book, The Happiness Advantage, Shawn Achor addresses the significance of believing in the self, noting that self-belief can improve people's lives in numerous ways. He describes belief in the self as coming from a growth mindset, whereas stunted growth happens to those who hold a fixed mindset. So here is a paragraph that's introducing the main idea of this piece, which is belief in your ability to succeed. So for your intro, you can create something along these lines that is both introducing the author and the source text and also introducing the main idea. Now here I'm going to give you the first paragraph, and you are welcome to use this for this particular reading response if you choose, because this is giving you a sample of how you should be doing this for the rest of your paragraphs, or for most of them. So this topic sentence says, people who hold a fixed mindset limit themselves tremendously. And here we have a couple of quotes that support that idea that are brought straight from the text. They believe that their capabilities are already set. Their belief in their limitations is so strong that they miss choice opportunities for improvement and consistently underperform. Consequently, holding a fixed mindset can hold people back from discovering their true potential. So note how we have a clear topic sentence. Our quotes support that topic, and then we have at least one sentence afterwards that shows the connection between that top idea and how it works together with the quotes. And that is properly framing the quote. And you want to make sure to frame your quotations as you go through these paragraphs. So you're going to write an introduction. I am allowing you to use this opening paragraph if you choose to start. And then we're going to give you some topic sentences for this outline that you can create similar paragraphs to this that are properly framed, that develop this idea of belief in the self. So here is the second topic sentence you can use. On the opposite side of the coin, there is the growth mindset, which allows people to foster belief in themselves. So you can go ahead and keep that there for the second topic sentence. And now what you're going to want to do, perhaps in this paragraph, is to describe the growth mindset. Actually, I can just paste this over. Then you're going to want to lead into a quote which shows how the growth mindset benefits people. And then you're going to want to add some analysis to wrap up that paragraph. So this is just a reminder of what you need to do after this topic sentence here. The next paragraph is a paragraph where you can bring in your personal experience. And that's something you can do with a reading response, is also talk about how this impacts you. So you can say, I have personally experienced the effects of the fixed mindset or the growth mindset myself, and then talk about that in the paragraph. So let's write that there. Tell your experience in a brief paragraph. That was a reminder what to do here. Now the next topic sentence you can use is right here. After reading Achor's commentary, I've come to realize the benefit of changing the way we perceive ourselves. So here you can name a benefit of changing the way we perceive ourselves, lead into a quote which shows this benefit, and then add some analysis to wrap up the paragraph again. So that's your third topic sentence I'm giving you, and a reminder of what to do in that paragraph. And then lastly, you want to create a conclusion, and a conclusion always reflects on the main idea and shows readers why that main idea is important. So you want to have some commentary, some analysis showing readers why your main idea is significant. Now, if you develop all these paragraphs, write an introduction, and develop these 3 body paragraphs with quotes and personal experience, and then create a conclusion, you should have 500 words. So this template hopefully will really help you figure out how to approach this assignment, and practicing it with this template the first time. I think as you go into future reading responses, you'll have a way to approach that later and hopefully be successful with this type of response. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon.